So before we move to begin our reflections on the theme, our first theme of peace, it is my honour and privilege to welcome onto the stage to deliver a keynote welcome address Denisa Sarajlic Maglic, who is Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Civil Affairs here in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So good to have you with us. Thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, I welcome you to Sarajevo, to Bosnia and Herzegovina on behalf of the Council of Ministers of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I hope you're not expecting a political speech. I am, as of recently, a politician, but I'm not yet used to delivering political speeches, and I don't think it's something that you would benefit from in your discussions today. I would rather leave with you two or three topics which I would like to pick up on. I'm sure over the course of the next 2 or 3 days you will hear a lot about different kinds of problems, and I'm not here to talk to you about problems today. I'd rather talk about the causes and maybe just leave a little prospect for future on a positive side. One of the things which you may notice through the discussions which you will participate in is that there is a lack of joint vision, common vision about a single society in Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is the legacy which we face, which we have to deal with from the Dayton Peace Agreement, which has created a perfect peace but imperfect government. And the Dayton Peace Agreement has put in place a constitutional structure which prevents us from building a joint vision for this society. So instead of looking for a vision of society which you could download from a website of the government, it's not there, don't look. You can't share it on Facebook, but look for a vision of this society through the people, through Bosnians who will address you over the next 2 days. You will hear many diverse and maybe, likely, many negative views. And this is one of the things we need to change. These kinds of perceptions are something we, as politicians, as civil society, media, face on a daily basis. And this is why I think another reason why we need to build that strong vision of a joint society. Another thing that you may notice, which is again one of the causes of many problems that you will hear about, is the striking absence of the so-called social fabric or social capital, which unfortunately has been destroyed. We used to be proud of having a social fabric that was based on a society that is multicultural, multi-religious. But unfortunately, these days, since the war or since the peace was signed, we are taking pride in diversity as something that's negative. And we're not actually taking pride in diversity as something that's positive and that can be a value in this society. We are a society that's divided among many lines, not just ethnic. And it is very easy to make somebody feel as if they don't belong in this society, whether it's based on gender, sexual orientation, political orientation or affiliation, or any other grounds. It could even be a positive feature of somebody that can be put in a very negative context. And of course, us politicians are one of those groups which are seen as very negative. And I'm very glad that we have heard here that one of the reasons why you're all here is to talk about trust. And trust is something that's lacking in this society. Not just trust in politicians, but trust between ethnic groups, trust in government, trust in institutions, trust in media. And building trust is a long process, and we all understand that very well. But this is an area where your foundations can play a role. Let me outline several areas where trust can be built, where joint vision can be built, and through which social fabric and social capital can be built. The first, to me, is education. We have an educational system which entrenches divisions. It does not help overcome those divisions. And it's very important that the new generations are educated in a system which cherishes diversity as a value. The second area is culture. We have, as you will, I'm sure, hear over the next few days, very rich culture, very rich history. We have a lot of potential when it comes to arts, creative industries. And this is an area where I think we can do a lot more together with our external partners, not just to build this joint vision, but in fact to create a sense of positivism within society. The other two areas the next area is the European integration, which I think is part of that joint vision and needs to be part of that joint vision. And the final, last but not least, and not only these four, is economy. And I'm not very competent to talk about economy, so I will not elaborate on that. Living in Bosnia is a big challenge, especially for young people, and most of us in the government understand these challenges, understand why this is difficult. But it is also a big responsibility. For that, we need imagination. And I'm really glad that, again, here in the previous panel, you have mentioned creativity. To live here, to build this vision, to build social capital, we need imagination, we need creativity in order to break the mental constraints of the cleavages, of the divisions and the trenches which are still in the heads of many people. We need the freedom to imagine living in a single, multicultural society in which, I say again, diversity is a value. And investing in imagination is, of course, always a risky business, but in this case, I think it would pay off. And I invite you, I encourage you to help us live these imaginations of a single society, to help us expand the creativity, which I assure you there is plenty of within this society. And on our side, I think we can promise, especially among the young generation of politicians, that we will do our best not to fall into these stereotypes of politicians, which I mentioned before, and that we will do our best to encourage our younger generations to live this joint vision. And at the end, I just say we are trying hard, but as the Beatles say, we all do get by with a little help from our friends. So, dear friends, this is the kind of help we will need from you. And I hope you enjoy the next few days in Sarajevo and the rest of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which you will hopefully visit if the floods go away. And I hope to see some of you again here in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you particularly, Minister, for not making a political speech, but instead giving us such a clear and passionate vision of the challenges that you face and the challenges that all of us face, and also, at the end, that beginning of a discussion about what more can be done to help that little bit of help from our friends.